welcome to another episode of the Digital Quill Podcast with your host, Mars Wilson. Hi, I'm Mars Wilson, and this is my show, the Digital Quill Podcast. Kind of born from a mishmash of various things, such as my very first blog that I actually made public, the Digital Quill Press, which I am going to start getting back to, probably this week, if not next. Who knows? Who knows what I do except for myself? Cheers if you're drinking coffee or anything else today. Have a great day. And let's just hop right into it, huh? On this glorious and beautiful, sunny and cloudy and rainy Wednesday morning. Today, I have a dance class lesson. I am excited. I think I might have mentioned that yesterday. It will technically be my first official lesson. Yay! Who knows? Maybe I can get my dance class coach on here for an episode one day. We'll see. What do I have in store for today's episode? Well, in a prior episode, we talked about the 7 deadly sins. As a matter of fact, an episode, let's see if I can... this is lagging really badly. Don't stop. Just pause. And we are unpaused. Sorry, my computer is having all sorts of issues. I don't know why. Really hope I don't have to replace this thing, because I can't. Anyway, in a prior episode, we talked about the 7 deadly sins. As a matter of fact, in episode 73 of the Digital Quill Podcast, we said, should all 7 sins become one? Quite an interesting... Why did Zoom open? Quite an interesting conversation. If you want to go back and watch that, I will link it in the description below, along with any articles that I read from today. Just so you can do your own research, because I care about information and I hate gatekeeping. If you like gatekeeping, you do you, boo-boo. Free will and all that. Alrighty. Now, I was going to read my message from my Discord community the other week, or day. The other day, not the other week. It is the same week. But, as I said, my computer is freaking the fuck out. So, I really wonder if I'm going to be able to do my Let's Play today. I will be. Rain or shine. But... I was going to read from my Discord. I'll just summarize it from what I remember. Actually, you know what? I have my phone right here. I have my phone right here. It's not off because it's not Monday. And yeah, Discord community, which I will also link in the description below in case you want to join it. It's not exactly an active community, but we have people and there's a spot to promote things, and occasionally people communicate with each other. It's nice. I don't know how to run a community yet, apparently, at all. None whatsoever. Run a community. That sounds so terrible to me. Like, the idea of running a community. Like, shouldn't the community just run itself? Like, you have your humans doing human things, and you have your other humans doing other human things over here, and at some point, all the mishmash of human things... I'm thinking out loud, sorry. Introductions. So, I'm not going to paraphrase everything. I'm actually only going to paraphrase my part of this conversation. You're going to have to join the community to see the rest of it. Sloth the sin, huh? Weird. I feel like I just had a conversation or two about this. It was probably a conversation with just myself. Another gamer, and wait, photographer? Let's see, and then this is the second conversation. So again, if you want to know the actual context, this is a public community conversation sort of thing. You can find it. My least favorite sin in myself is my pride. It comes from not having any confidence, and sometimes that shadow self really wants me to boast my shit. It's why I admired my dad's humility and humbleness so much. I knew I would struggle with that for most of my life, if not all of it. Sloth is one I have been privy to more than I care to admit. So let's talk about sins today. Let's dive a little deeper into sins. And let's start with the 7 deadly sins in modern times. How do they manifest today? This is a lifestyle magazine and hub called T.I.M.E. I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm just going to link it. You'll find it. The 7 Deadly Sins in Modern Times, written by Laura, updated May 28th, 2025. Let's get one thing straight. The 7 deadly sins, pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth, haven't vanished. They've just updated their profiles. In our hyper-connected world, these age-old vices have found new avenues to thrive. Let's explore how each sin manifests today, particularly through social media behaviors and consumer culture. Now, before we dive into the rest of this article, I am not going to start with pride. I'm actually going to start with greed. And there's a specific reason I want to start with greed from this article. I did read a little bit through it beforehand. Some of these articles I didn't actually read in depth. We're going to be reading them in depth together. So, or at least in depth. I will probably be reading them in more depth later on. But, yeah. So, in the last episode, we were talking about the 7 deadly sins and how they could all probably be classified under one sin, which would be greed. Greed, the subscription spiral. Greed, or the insatiable desire for more, is amplified in today's consumer-driven society. The constant bombardment of advertisements and the allure of instant gratification have made overconsumption the norm. Modern manifestations, flash sales, and limited editions, creating a sense of urgency to buy more. Subscription overload, from streaming services to monthly boxes, there's always something new to subscribe to. Which is actually one of the reasons why I have such a problem with subscriptions. And, funny enough, a friend of mine actually messaged me earlier today on Discord, shout out to you, by the way, with an article or YouTube video talking about cutting the cord and why piracy is coming back for media. And honestly, there's an article I wrote a couple of fucking years ago talking about cutting the cord because of subscription services, namely when subscription services got rid of the ability to password share, which, by the way, if we are paying for our services, there should be no reason, Netflix or Disney, that we aren't allowed to share our passwords, our accounts that we pay for with our friends and family, even if they don't live under the same roof. I understand from a consumeristic point of view why you did that. Don't get me wrong. I get your society money makers, but there's this thing called modern media and modern consumption and modern entertainment. Once upon a time, it was really easy and accessible to actually enjoy art. It's becoming harder and harder to enjoy art, and I know that there are artists out there who would probably disagree with me on this front, that art should be accessible. It should be. Art is a pinnacle part of being human. We have created for eons, all of us, even those of us who wouldn't necessarily quite say that we are creatives. Art should be accessible. Now, does that mean on a sidestep tangent here, does that mean that I'm telling artists to lower their prices? No. You charge for your services the way you think. That's what a free market is. But don't be upset if someone wants to go with a cheaper service. Just saying, because that's kind of just the way free markets work. There will be people who will want to pay for your higher services. That's just kind of the way that society works. It's a conversation for a different day. But art should be accessible. I don't care. Entertainment should be accessible. I feel like not as accessible maybe as food or shelter, because entertainment is, while I think a human need, is not a pinnacle part of being human, because you can be entertained with other humans. You could be entertained with just a stick and stones, but conversations for another day. Example for greed in modern days. The Netflix documentary Buy Now, The Shopping Conspiracy explores the detrimental effects of modern consumerism, highlighting practices like planned obsolescence, where products are designed to be disposable and frequently replaced. I can think of exactly one example as to why that is rampant in society. So, have you guys ever stopped to wonder why they can't keep the McRib in stock? And haven't you ever noticed troves and troves of you line up at McDonald's drive-thrus and Uber Eats lines and other stuff like that just to get the McRib whenever the Golden Arch gods are like, "Hey, guys, we brought it back! Congratulations! The McRib! Even though we could probably keep it all the time." Really? I will also have you know I have never tried the McRib. I don't plan to. Someone will have to pay me to try it. I'm not trying it. The other one I want to talk about in this article, and I'm not doing it in order, I'm sorry, is envy. The comparison trap. Envy thrives in the age of social media, where curated glimpses into others' lives can foster feelings of inadequacy. The constant comparison can lead to a distorted sense of reality and self-worth. Modern manifestations: FOMO, fear of missing out. Anxiety stemming from the belief that others are having a more rewarding experience. Or, rather than what the sentence actually says, anxiety stemming from the belief that others are having more rewarding experiences. Pretty much the same thing I just said, but hey, whatever. Context matters. I don't really get FOMO too often, and it's actually something I've started to notice a few years ago when that became such a big word I started seeing circulating. And I noticed there are people I know that do get FOMO, and I feel bad for them sometimes, because I'm like, no. If we really want to do the whole comparison trap of experiences things here, because first of all, comparison is the thief of joy, then look at you. Look at me. You are currently afraid of missing out on something. I am currently afraid of missing out on you. There are definitely things that all of us could compare and contrast to when it comes to FOMO, but I don't like focusing on that because, one, my life has been my life. It's been what it's been, and I don't know. I don't have all of my thoughts together on FOMO and lifestyle envy, which actually, lifestyle envy, coveting the seemingly perfect lives portrayed online. Example, a study published in the Journal of Broadcasting and Electronic Media found that idolized portrayals of motherhood on social media, often propagated by mom-influencers, can increase anxiety and envy among new mothers. I have seen that, and some of my mom friends, online mom friends, and that's the other thing that I kind of hate about the idea of being an influencer myself, and why, even though, for lack of a better term, I kind of am, I guess, I don't know. I don't want someone to be jealous of my life, because my life is nothing to be jealous over. I had 3 sets of parents that didn't love me. The only parent that loved me died when I was 12, turning 13, 2 weeks before my first day of middle school, from cancer. I got to watch him fucking die for 2 years. Yeah, I may look like I have my shit together online, but I really don't. I'm just as human as you are. I have just as many anxieties and fears as you do. That's why I like doing this podcast and my blogging and my vlogging and my all of that is because don't be me. Don't aspire to be me. Be you. Aspire to be you, because God or your creator or the universe, or if you're an atheist, your cells created you to be you. Not me, not the person sitting next to you, not your parents, not your siblings. Your cells created you to be you. Your experiences and your brain and your perception created you to be you. Let's work on that. Next, and this one actually ties into a conversation of a personal story I'm going to jump into. Pride, the selfie syndrome. Pride, traditionally seen as excessive self-love, has found fertile ground in the era of social media. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok often encourages users to curate idealized versions of themselves, leading to a culture of comparison and validation seeking. Modern manifestations. As we were just talking about, influencer culture. The rise of influencers has blurred the lines between genuine self-expression and performative pride. I hate feeling like I'm performing. As a matter of fact, my soul and my emotions and my brain and my thought processing all start to shut down epically when I am feeling like I am performing. Because interesting thing about the 7 deadly sins, right, is it's like a form of shadow self. It is the darkness of the light showing up. It's why morals like dealing with the 7 deadly sins and talking about these things through like theology and philosophy and other stuff like that is so important, because my whole thing is wanting to help people live a life they love and live it powerfully. What in the hell was that? Don't know, don't care. The reason I came up with that, and it's actually kind of funny, it's not exactly entirely something I agree with anymore, because it is very much in the realm of money. But for a few years, I took a couple of seminars. One of those seminars was called the Landmark Foundation, or the Landmark Forum. And if you know what it is, neat. Keep it to yourself. No, I'm kidding. Is it a cult? No, not really. Could it be classified as one? I mean, anything could be. Catholicism, Christianity, paganism even, the Digital Quill, like anything could be technically classified as a cult, right? But it's not a cult. It is a seminar for leadership and living a life you love and living it powerfully. I was still in therapy at the time of doing these seminars. And this was between 2000, I want to say 15, 16 to about 2017, if not. God. That was a weird time period. Holy crap. I was in high school when I was doing all of those. But the Landmark Forum taught me a lot. And even though it was a bunch of rich business people who probably had more business to do with therapy and less with the Landmark Forum, just saying, there were also other really good people. And that's actually kind of like a weird foundation of community for me. We'll have to talk about it more, but tying this back into rise of influencers, blurring lines between genuine self-expression and performative pride, I had lost some of the plot talking about the forum and why it tied into that, living a life you love and living it powerfully. That's kind of like just it, though, is like genuine self-expression. Like, think of it as the human condition that we talk about sometimes here, right? I almost fell off the chair. When you are living in the shadow, when you are living in the darkness, and you're not living powerfully, when you're not living a life you love, you are probably feeling like absolute dog ass all the time. You're probably low in energy, you're probably not sleeping well, you probably have a lot of thoughts that are questionable. I have experience with this, more than I care to admit. When I am feeling like I am performing, when I am feeling like I am a performer and not myself, my system shut down. And I am not able to step into the light. When I am feeling like my genuine self, even when I'm awkward or shy or stumbling through my lines, like I have no idea what the heck I'm saying, like I've never said any words ever before, that feels a lot better. That feels open. That doesn't feel stagnant. An example of the selfie syndrome with pride. Consider the phenomenon of LinkedIn envy, where individuals feel inadequate seeing peers announce new jobs or career milestones on LinkedIn, especially during challenging times of unemployment. Trying to figure out what the next one should be. Yes. The next two. So the next one after this one might trigger some people. Fair warning. This one, though, gluttony. The sin of gluttony. Binge culture. Gluttony isn't just about food anymore. It's about overindulgence in all forms. See, that article actually is where I'd like to kind of correct you, because, yes, it isn't just about food anymore. It never was. It was never about food. It was also about property. Because if I'm not mistaken, there are some cultures and some belief systems and a couple of other things where it is actually not a good idea to own any property. Because what is ownership except a form of control? A dangerous slope to corruption. Anyway, modern manifestations, streaming marathons, watching an entire season in one sitting. That might have an interesting, actually, deep-seated belief system. I might have to ponder that one. Online shopping sprees, buying things you don't need because of a sale. Example, the mukbang trend, where individuals consume large quantities of food on camera, has significant health risks. Trisha Paytas, a former mukbanger, shared her experience of consuming over 10,000 calories daily to earn up to 50,000 per video, despite severe health issues and depression. That is, I have not heard of that, and wow. The mukbang trend. Well, time to fact check. What is the Well, I know what that website is, eater.com. The whole internet is mukbang now. August 19th, 2025. What the hell? Usually within 30 seconds of opening the TikTok app on my phone, I can almost guarantee that I will see a video of someone eating. I have not seen that. The only time I see snackers or eaters is when I am specifically searching out Snack Locator for some of the latest fucking... Oh my gosh. What? Sometimes when I remember other people's feed doesn't look like mine, especially when seeing it point blank, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's... We live in a weird society. Maybe they're sitting in their car with a sack full of fast food, or perhaps they've just prepared an elaborate meal that they're sloppily plating into bowls, but within seconds the eating begins. In 2025, it feels like the whole entire internet is mukbang. Still don't know what that is. Still have learned nothing. Oh, that's why. Okay. For those who are unfamiliar with the concept, mukbang, which roughly translates to eating show, was first popularized in South Korea in the 2010s. And these eating shows, which usually involve an individual or group sitting down to eat a meal that's already been prepared, camera pointed directly at them, both celebrities and regular folks began attracting massive audiences who would just hang on and watch their favorite mukbangers eat a giant bowl of noodles or kimchi on a Twitch live stream. That actually sounds kind of fun, not gonna lie. Abundance was always part of the point, creating a visual you just can't look away from. But so was sound. Interesting. It's like an ASMR kind of thing. Weird. I will link this as well. The trend made its way to the United States shortly thereafter by 2017 YouTubers like Trisha Paytas started creating their own mukbang videos, telling the camera about their day while eating pizza, chicken nuggets, and Taco Bell. How American. How American. I sometimes hate being an American. I have said this in my friend's company before, but here's the thing. If I can't say what I want to say to my audience of people like I can with my friends and my family and stuff, then I shouldn't be doing this job. So yeah, here you go. That's me admitting it for the first time live-ish on camera. I sometimes really absolutely not only despise being white, but also despise being an American so much. But I am, and I have to accept it because I can't go back in time and become anything else, unfortunately. Oh well. Continue to the 7 deadly sins. Wrath. Keyboard warriors. Wrath has found a new home on the internet where anonymity can embolden individuals to express anger without restraint. How do you feel after typing out a giant angry paragraph? In the initial moment, you probably feel really good, huh? Same. But what about the days or weeks or months or years to follow? What about the times when you sit back and you start thinking about the time that, maybe I shouldn't have said it quite like that. Wow, they were really disappointed and they looked really hurt when I said it that way. What about those moments? Modern manifestations, online rants, posting angry diatribes over minor inconveniences. What the hell is that word? I feel like I've heard of it. I don't know. We're going to learn a new word today, right now. Diatribe. A forceful and bitter verbal attack against someone or something. Wow. Just say that. No, I'm kidding. Cancel culture. Calling for boycotts over differing opinions. Example, today's outrage culture characterized by intensified online vocalization and anonymity has evolved from historical contexts like the Salem witch trials. Yeah, suddenly really hate the internet again. Social media platforms are the arenas for public debate, often leading to what is now commonly known as modern outrage culture, i.e. rage bait, i.e. trolling. For example, yep, I am definitely privy to that one. Sloth, the procrastination plague. Sloth isn't just laziness. It's the art of doing anything except what you're supposed to do. Endless scrolling in modern manifestations. Losing hours to cat videos instead of working. What's that one creative project you said you were gonna start a couple of years ago and just haven't yet? Where's your attention been going? Has it been going to cat videos or endless hours of video games? Because same, I've done that. Sometimes I still do that. Not as much as I once did, though. Oh my god. Holy crap. Ugh. Flashbacks to a past version of myself who just... I'm so sorry, younger me. I'm so sorry. Example, resolving to not check email for an hour, for example, can make you more likely to sneak into the kitchen for a bag of chips. The second example was productivity apps, spending more time organizing tasks than completing them. Don't say anything. just don't say anything. Resolving to not check email for an hour, for example, can make you more likely to sneak into the kitchen for a bag of chips. The idea that managing our internal state, hurting our thoughts and feelings so they align with our highest goals, often demands self-control, and this effort can leave us with less cognitive firepower for the tasks at hand. So remember how I said pride is my least favorite sin in myself? I lied. I think it's sloth. After this, I am going to become so productive. The internet is outing me again. Embrace the human experience. Thank you. The 7 deadly sins have evolved, finding new expressions in our digital age, but recognizing them isn't about self-condemnation. I'm so glad you said that, because I was about to go find the Golden Gate Bridge and jump right off that son of a bitch. It's about understanding our behaviors and striving for balance. Balance. Your story, with all its imperfections and indulgences, is what makes you relatable and real. Embrace it, learn from it, and maybe, just maybe, post that unfiltered photo of your morning matcha. Unfiltered photo. You people filter your photos for food? Just adjust the lighting. Gosh. Sorry, my photographer came out a little bit. Seriously, stop filtering your photos. Just a simple couple of lighting adjustments and like white balance adjustments will do wonders. You filter your photos of food? Who are you people? Clearly, you're not my photography students. Not that I have students in photography. Yet. Probably never. I don't like teaching, even though that's one of my taglines. I don't want to influence. I just want you to do you. Is that so wrong? Next article, because article. How to apply the 7 deadly sins. I'm not reading all that. The way this is formatted, actually, hold on. The end formatting isn't so bad, but the way the first half is formatted. Interesting. I am reading this, and apparently there's a movie I need to see called 7. Excuse me. Coffee's coming back to bite me in the ass. Memory lane. So yeah, religion. I'm older. So day. Interesting. We're just gonna read the first half of this article because I am definitely putting it into the thing. This is called That Girl Jen. All the wrong turns led me to the right place. An article on August 15th of 2021. Have you watched the movie 7? If so, you know the line, what's in the box? What's in the box? What an amazing scene. Pat and Freeman and Pitt and Freeman and Pitt. Brilliant, amazing, believable. But they're top-notch actors for real. We tend to reenact the scene every time the Amazon or UPS dude swings by with a package to deliver. Fun times. You actually sound really fun. But you're formatting. Sorry. Today's subject is just loosely applying the principles of the 7 deadly sins to your daily life and interactions. It's Sunday. Maybe I'm a bit inspired. The 7 deadly sins are also called the cardinal sins, or capital vices. We all have daily vices we are experiencing. It's all about life choices. So before we actually continue, I actually want to read something I wrote a while ago. I probably read it before, but we're going to read it again anyway. And I am showing my pride again, so I'm sorry, mostly to myself. When you've been through hell and back a few dozen times over, undergone years of therapy, read countless books, have talked to numerous people, and you still have no clue, some things begin to add up and subtract all at once. Life is largely what we make it. The experiences we have, the choices we make, and the perspectives we keep. I am no saint. I'm not even sure what that means anymore. Saints, what a funny concept. I have learned a lot. I have figured out a lot about what I want, about who I am, about what I want to do. I have much to learn. I will always have much to learn. An absolute I am actually fond of, because I'm not actually fond of absolutes. My mission: love, always love, light, peace, learning, growing, creating, connecting, coexisting. Why? I went through a lot. Rape, unfit parents, bullying, cheating, lies, betrayal, an insurmountable amount of things. I don't want others to experience the same. See my mission. Love. I want to write, publicly speak, photograph beauty. Humans are beautiful too. The human condition, the human path, the human experience. Humanity is so odd, yet beautiful. I am a complex individual, a style potentially unsuited to people who don't enjoy chaos while calm, or the reverse. Complex. A creature of duality and polarity in ways unbeknownst to even themselves. I have surprised myself. And this part here is actually kind of cool. This may be my life, my page, but like all things that I do, it is not just my space. I am here to teach, inspire, motivate, and entertain. I am here to love and be loved. I am here to learn, grow, connect, and create. I am the Digital Quill, someone who embodies the digital and physical elements of the natural world, or will try to anyway. Someone who exists online and off. A digital entity dead set on creating a digital entity dead set on connecting and creating not just me to you, but to others beyond either of us. And now we're going back to the 7 deadly sins. Memory lane. That will become important later on. Memory lane. I went to a parochial. I can't pronounce that word. That read that as a church. I went to a parochial school. Read that as church 2 times a week, nuns with rulers, daily religion classes, prayer, lots of prayer, reading from the Bible, going to confess for what felt like every week. A life filled with commandment and rules. As a kid, that equated to a small bit of fear, but also over time, a huge amount of respect. My moral compass was founded and nurtured through a very religious upbringing. I definitely understand worldly things a lot more now. For that, I'm thankful. So yeah, religion. I've been known to dabble in it, surrounded in it. Growing up, I was fascinated with the nuns and their life. What happened after the kids left the school grounds for the day? What was their weekend filled with? Did they go to the grocery store, watch movies, and eat cheeseburgers like me? Yeah, they did. They prayed a lot too. Prayer was their life. Many years ago on May 9th, there was a really bad storm, so bad that a freight boat lost control. Hit a bridge, and a bus of nuns were forever lost. There was a lot of flooding in my city in general from this freak rainstorm. Kids were being released early from school. There I was with my teacher, Miss P. She sat with me, hoping my parents could find a way to safely retrieve me, as I was the last kid at school. My parents weren't able to get me because there was flooding, or because the flooding was really bad between where we lived, where my dad worked, and the school. And so I sat waiting. Most of the school staff had to leave. They stayed as long as they could. And then the nuns were there. That day, I got to spend a couple of hours in their personal rectory where they lived. That's something most kids in Catholic school could only dream of. I got to see it all with my own eyes. I saw behind the curtain, but I was reminded that this was their sacred space and that other kids didn't need to know I had been to their space. I think at that point, I had a new understanding of these incredible women. Still feared them a bit. I mean, they had a direct line to the Sky Daddy. And well, I was all about getting into heaven, be a good girl, get to the pearly gates, get into heaven, eternal happiness. So as a kid, I had that fleeting moment of wanting to become a nun. It's what I knew, what surrounded and filled my days. These incredible women. I remember our priest, Father B, went out to get us food for us. We dined on burgers together. We then prayed extra prayers for the nuns and people who had lost their lives during this terrible storm. Respect. We prayed my parents would safely find a way to get to the school. Prayers were answered, and about 2 hours later, I was picked up, strapped in the back seat of the car, headed back to my private sanctuary. I'm older and, well, not a nun. I'm not as virtuous as they were, but I'm a decent human being. Their life choice wasn't my path to follow, but still mad respect to those fierce ladies who wore their habits with honor. So today, I'm thinking about the 7 deadly sins. How do I understand them as an adult? Whose days of private Catholic school have long since passed? No longer do I have bruised knees from sit, kneel, stand. Oh, there's a comic that talked about the Catholic Church workout. It's funny. Really funny and true. So, sidestep before we get into the 7 deadly sins. I did get to attend a couple of different Catholic services once before, specifically a Catholic funeral. The sit, stand, kneel thing is real, and there's no guidebook that tells you when or where or how to do it, so I was watching and paying attention to everybody else, and anyone who practices Catholicism and has to go to service and do the sit, stand, kneel thing, how are your knees, and would you like some ointment, because, ow, holy crap. Super mad respect for all of you who are able to do that. I'm kind of glad that wasn't me. Just gonna say that out loud. But yeah, the 7 deadly sins sounds ominous as an adult who's experienced and even seen or committed 1 or 2 trespasses. I have a deeper and different understanding about them now. Personal application, experience, and the free will to intemperate them as I understand that. I want to define that word too, because I think I know that word. Intemperate. Having or showing a lack of self-control. Immoderate. Okay. Free will to not moderate them as I understand them. We have free will, and the mind is a fascinating and interesting thing. Yes, it is. Thank you for saying that. I love talking about free will. According to the standard list, pride, greed, wrath, envy, lust, gluttony, and sloth make up the 7 cardinal sins. If you're a Christian or know someone who is, chances are they can rattle them off fairly quickly off the top of their head without breaking a mental sweat. Note, there are also 7 heavenly virtues: prudence, justice, temperance, courage, faith, hope, and charity. See, not all religious stuff is about internal damnation and scary stuff like the fiery pits of hell or the devil. Thank you, Catholic lady. I appreciate you. Think your name is Jen. I'm going to pretend your name is Jen because it says thatgirljen.com. Pride usually leads to selfishness and personal corruption. When you're boastful or proud, you're elevating yourself above others. Most of the time it could be genuine, like being proud of working hard and then gaining an accomplishment. That's good. However, screaming from the rooftop, "I'm number 1!" Being boastful in your pride is kind of a slippery slope. Because what you're proud of could be the catalyst for your pride to be determined as healthy or good. Hold on. Pride is what can sometimes fill your heart. The question is, what kind of pride is filling your heart? Are you an egotistical maniac who is shouting from the rooftops that your shit don't stink and everyone else's does? That's probably a sin. Are you patting yourself on the back because you finally accomplished a task that you haven't been able to accomplish in however long? I feel like that might be justified. Oh, greed. I don't know how to see greed as a good thing. I like you. I like you, lady. Usually greed to me is a tangible thing. Like, you want more, you want it all. Get to the top by any means necessary. Using people, stepping on the backs of others, pushing them down along the way. Greed. Tangible greed can be quantified with amassing items or amassing wealth. That's right. Amassing money. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it can help one afford a more comfortable lifestyle. Greed can be the catalyst for something larger. Okay, so let's say you're gaining wealth, but you're doing it in a dishonest way. Lying, cheating, stealing, misrepresenting yourself. Greed is bad. Greedy people are not decent people, so if greed controls you, then you're out of control. If greed controls you, then you're out of control. If greed controls you, you're out of control. If greed controls you, you're out of control. Getting to control, don't let greed control you. Wrath. Memes of Karen pitching a fit comes to mind. I'd like to speak with your manager, but sometimes even the manager can't fix the situation. Extreme anger, the kind that would make you do something to harm another. Wrath can come in all shapes and sizes. Wrath can be a thought or an action. Sometimes I get angry, sure, but usually it's more of a disappointment in how people are. Disappointment in how people conduct themselves or their business. Doesn't make me have the thoughts of harming anyone. Just extreme disappointment. Some people can't control their anger, which leads to wrath. That's not healthy, nor is it safe for the rest of us sharing space with a wrathful person. If you're angry about something, find a way to work through that anger and come out on the better side of it. Honestly, this is quite the education in the 7 deadly sins today, and I'm here for it because this is not going to be the last time we talk about it. It won't even be the first because we've talked about it twice now, and technically, why are you blurry now? Excuse you. Whatever. We went longer than I intended to. Good. And I have a little bit of time left. So, that being said, we are going to talk about more of this. And next time we talk about this, I will have more points to talk about and actually more personal stories. Besides the message I shared in Discord. Any of the links or articles I read from today, I will be putting in here. I know I didn't have them up as a screen share, so I was just reading from my laptop like this the whole time. Sorry about it. But yes, any of the articles that I read from here will be in here. Feel free to discuss in the comments below any of your own sins or anything you recognize or something that inspired you via this episode today, because truthfully, I love having conversations around theology and philosophy, and I like seeing other people have conversations around theology and philosophy. And again, should all 7 sins become one cardinal sin? I mean, of course, they are still going to be their separate own world things of sin, but what if it's only one tree and it's just branches of branches? Think of the tree of life, but the tree of shadow. Tree of life, tree of shadow, as above, so below, yin and yang. Yin and yang. As always, humans of Earth, thank you for sharing my time, or sharing your time with me. I hope I was able to teach, inspire, motivate, or at the very least, and probably the easiest, entertain you. This is the Digital Quill Podcast with your host, Mars Wilson. I have other episodes, and I do other things like Let's Plays and streaming on Mondays and all sorts of other stuff. I love promoting your work, so please get in touch with me at dearmars2023@gmail.com. That will be in the description below. Let's talk about your stories. Let's promote your work. Let's get this bread, humans of Earth. And as always, keep going. Don't forget to breathe. And thank you for existing. Bye now.